As we've previously reported, the military defense agreement between Israel and Washington has just been signed. While many are hailing the finalization of this memorandum of understanding as a great breakthrough, former senior Israeli diplomat in Washington, Lenny Ben David, told ILTV's Aaron Viner that there are two sides to this agreement.
Very important sides. The one which is getting a lot of attention and which is remarkably important to Israel's security is the 10-year plan of supplying Israel with funds for military equipment. This will allow us to buy new aircraft, to set up missile defense, to be involved in all kinds of security elements facing ISIS, facing Iran. And it's a very positive, well worked on agreement. But what was not seen was the president issued a statement parallel to the agreement in which he ties the military assistance in Israel's security to the peace process, with comments that suggest that the United States, before he leaves, may even raise this as part of a UN resolution. When he says, and quote, there have been negative trends on the ground, this is very difficult to understand. Why, when we're just discussing about Israel's security, he wants to make Israelis more insecure, and suggesting that the settlement issue may be a problem for him before he leaves office.
Are you saying that the stipulations within the MOU could possibly motivate even greater Palestinian resistance to reviving the peace talks as a possible way of inflicting greater harm on Israel?
I won't go that far, but what I will say is that the Palestinians may take out of the statement, that they can count on the United States to pressure Israel, that instead of sitting down face to face with the Israelis, they will wait for their savior to come in the form of the United Nations. So far, the Arab attention has been only on the large package of the military aid. And that, as the NSC advisor, Ms. Rice, Dr. Rice, said, shows strong ties between the two countries. But the analysis will come when people will look at the president's statement and see the implied warnings that if there's no movement on the peace process, then it could affect the security. The two he actually links together.
Does Washington still expect Israel to negotiate with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas when he is already 11 years into his 4-year term and clearly looking to step down from office?
I don't think Washington expects anything in the next few months of the Obama administration. What I fear is that they would like to put a stake in the ground, or to project a policy that they will continue, that will be continued in Washington. At the end of a Reagan administration, George Shultz recognized the PLO. So it didn't affect the Reagan administration, it affected the United States policy subsequent to that. So I think that's what they're looking to do, because even they understand that the Abbas administration, the Abbas government, is falling apart, that there is no clear line of succession there, and that the Palestinian cities themselves, whether it's Nablus or Ramallah and Hebron, all have separate political entities, and there's no way that there's a coalescing of these cities to form a Palestinian identity. And so they don't have a client, and Israel doesn't have a partner.
What does this ultimately mean for the peace process?
I think that some people are starting to look for an alternative or for a change in the peace process. And that is to find steps to take that are confidence-building steps, to work with Arab governments in the region who can then influence the Palestinians. The priority of the Arab world has long ago ceased to be the Palestinian predicament. The number of Palestinian refugees is dwarfed by the number of refugees from Syria. The Palestinian so-called refugees have the highest life expectancy in the Arab world, the highest levels of education, and look instead to where the Syrian refugees are. And the Arab attention is shifting. And then when you have the Palestinian internal politics with Hamas playing ball with Iran and possibly even with ISIS in the Sinai, the Arab world is not interested in this any longer. The Palestinians are very much pushed down to the bottom of their priorities.